Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. The weather's just slightly strange today. It's had a look all day that it's about ready to just pour down rain. Dark, thick clouds, just kind of has that feel in the air, but there's no rain in the forecast. And if you look at the live radar, there's nothing on it around here, completely clear. But yeah, every once in a while we get a few little drops of rain. So it's nothing to complain about. It's just different. So I want to focus on this Middle East stuff that's going on. I've thought about it more. I actually didn't really even think about this in the beginning when it first started. I think a lot of people just kind of shocked that, all of a sudden, we've got the president going over the Middle East and he's working all these deals and peace deals and trade deals in the Middle East. Mostly it's just trade. And, you've got countries that are saying, hey, we're going to start sending billions and trillions of dollars in trade back to the United States. And he's done it in a way to isolate Israel. We did a weapons package deal with Saudi Arabia. We're going to go ahead and let them start having nuclear, technology, normalizing relationships and dropping sanctions from Syria. That has been a huge hotbed mess for years. And their president is a former Al-Qaeda and ISIS member on the top FBI most wanted lists, $10 million bounty on his head. It's been a whirlwind when it comes to that. So I at first I didn't think of this, but the longer I'm pondering all of this, the more I think about it. Is all of this stuff opening the doorway for, Sharia law type stuff here in the United States? That's been something that hasn't been talked about a whole lot. And I don't think it was just because of the Biden administration, the whole, let everything in and all that kind of garbage. It just hasn't been talked about a whole lot. But here lately, it has been kind of building in the conversation. We've got Minnesota that is, I don't know, it may be a complete lost cause at this point. Talked to so many people that live up there, has recently lived up there, and they tell me how awful it's become in some places. And it's a beautiful state with really nice people. I've been there many times. But there are places in Minnesota that doesn't even look like it's in the Western Hemisphere. And they're challenging now basically Illinois for being the most liberal state in the Midwest. You've got Texas, which Texas is the, God bless Texas. We're all conservative and gun-toting, Bible-thumping folks down here in Texas. And, they're trying to build basically a Sharia law city. Now, I know that the governor there has kind of gotten involved and said, hold up, we're going to look into this. We're not going to let this happen. But, it doesn't put them past just building a big subdivision or whatever. It doesn't have to have government approval just to build buildings and try to, unofficially impose Sharia law, which is what they do in New York City. There's whole sections of New York City that's under Sharia law, not officially, but the community enforces it. And if you look on a map of Dallas, Texas, my goodness, there's Muslim mosques all over the place. And the last time I went to Dallas was several years ago, and I'd never seen so many burqas in my whole life. And those are just two places that I'm mentioning. This is happening all over. It's interesting with the talk of the Trump administration kicking all these illegals out, rounding them all up, all this kind of stuff. There's been court cases and things in the news. Have you noticed that pretty much the only talk about that is with like Hispanic, South American, Latino, whatever you want to term you want to use. That's pretty much, people from Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, that kind of stuff. But remember back over the last 4 years during the Biden administration, while south of the border people, there's my politically incorrect term, were still the bulk of the ones coming across illegally, there was a lot and ever increasing numbers of people from Africa and the Middle East that were Muslim. Remember that? Remember it was being reported, there were videos, there was whole caravans of them that were not Hispanic, that were not South American. They were coming over from other countries, and most of them were Muslim. So the question is, again, is all of this trade deals in the Middle East, is it going to open the doorway for immigration from the Middle East, or to do some type of forgiveness of the ones that are here illegally, but even bigger than that, a bigger push for things like Sharia law? Because here's the deal. You don't dump trillions of dollars into something, billions and trillions, and not expect something in return. And I know that there's going to be this argument, oh yeah, well Trump's doing this, he's got a hold of all of them, he's worked out this deal, and he's thought it through, and boy, he'll put the noose around him. I don't think so. I think that we need that more than they need us. That's an opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But you don't put that much money into something. All these countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and possibly Syria, and who knows who else, into the United States, and not say, hey, by the way, or later on down the road when a problem arises or something, you need to take it easy on our people. I mean, we are putting trillions of dollars into your economy, and you want to normalize things between us. Let's let our people, have a voice. Let's let them have a leg to stand on in your country. Is it possible? Yeah. I'm going to say something here that some of you are going to hate me for this. I mean, I kind of hate myself for saying this, but it's true. It's a fact, and I can't deny it. And that is, in a very, very rare occurrence, I actually agree with Hillary Clinton. Today, she said that you don't give someone $400 million and not expect something in return. And she's speaking of the jumbo luxury airplane that's being gifted to Donald Trump. They're saying it's the Department of Defense. It'll go to the library, his presidential library. But a luxury jet for him to fly around in. Through all this, between the jet and the Syrian thing and all this other, there's been a big debate and disagreement amongst his own supporters, not the left, and I'm not including that. I'm talking about his own supporters are very unsure about this. They don't like how it looks. They don't like that we're taking a big gift that could cost us a lot of money and could be a major security risk for the president to fly around in. They're not really sure that they like this, just out of nowhere, overnight, saying, okay, everything's fine now. We'll accept your trillions of dollars. We'll send you a bunch of AI chips. We'll have you working deals with BlackRock and AI companies and pharmaceutical companies because, those are the greatest people in the country anyways, so we might as well let them work with them. People are uneasy right now, and I think rightfully so. And again, the question is, are we opening the doorway for this? Because I think it's very possible. I think it's very likely. Again, you're not giving $400 million planes and just overnight agreeing to trillions of dollars in trade deals and investments and all this kind of stuff and not expect something in return. That's how politics works. And I don't care if you're in the Middle East or if you're in China or if you're anywhere else. All politicians know that that's how the game works. I'm giving to you, I'm making you look good because that's the other thing. You can say, if you're the prince of Saudi Arabia or any of these other guys, I'd say, listen, Mr. President, right now, there's been a lot of negative publicity against you because of China and the tariff stuff and the whole Russia-Ukraine stuff. We're making you look really good. Like, we're making there's this appearance that you're bringing peace to an area that hasn't had peace in millennia. We're making you look good, and we're investing into your country, and we're giving you $400 billion, million, whatever dollar plane. Maybe you could do a few things for us. Maybe you could make some stuff happen. Maybe you could look the other way. Because you have to understand that number one, these people that he's dealing with, I know that they may on this surface appear to be moderate Muslims. They're not in any way, shape, or form. They just know how to be professional businessmen too, as opposed to the radical terrorists that don't care. These guys at least know how to keep the look up. And because that they're serious about their religious beliefs, that comes first. The proliferation, there we go, there's the right word, I think, of their religion is paramount. And so, yes, they're going to do that. Yes, they're going to, at some point, try to sway things with their people that's already living here, or more people that may want to come, or to more free expression of their beliefs, and in a lot of ways, it's going to fit. I'm trying to think forward of how this could play out. Biden let all this gay, lesbian, rainbow garbage in and just demoralize the whole nation, and you're trying to, bring religion back. Well, okay, let us come back. And, you've got this office of faith. Well, let us be part of that. So we can all, the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims can all come together because we all serve the same God, and we're all from Abraham and all this. I can see this potentially playing out. Saudi Arabia, they're the one that's got those 3 temples for the 3 Abrahamic religions. I understand that the economic side of this could be a good thing for this country, but the long-term effects of this may not be so. And then, of course, there's this thing with the Syrian president. Again, the guy is a former ISIS, an Al-Qaeda leader, and then out of nowhere, he puts a suit on, cleans up a little bit, takes on a new name, and now he's the president of a country, and he's hanging out with Donald Trump, and Trump's just all of a sudden gonna drop sanctions and normalize relations. Today, he called him a handsome, strong young man. What he called him. With strong background. Really, his background was killing people. Now, of course, the truth probably is the fact that he's always been he's just a CIA employee. He's already a government employee. He's been a government employee when he was with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and he's probably been a government CIA employee as the president of Syria, so might as well just, clean him up a little bit, and now he's changing the script a little bit. Now he's going to be buddies with Donald Trump. I don't know. But I'm telling you that there's more to this. This kind of stuff doesn't just happen overnight. No one was here. This wasn't on anyone's bingo card. No one was talking about this a week or two ago. It was just kind of all of a sudden. And we have a real problem in this country of a lot of things that aren't necessarily related to the wars in Europe and the trade wars with China and the stuff going on in the Middle East. We have some major social problems, moral decay in this country. And I could easily see a situation where Muslims rise up and say, hey, we want this moral decay to be gone. That's what all you conservatives and Christians want, is the moral decay to be gone. We're more brothers with you than Jews are, and all this kind of stuff, and certainly more so than all the pagans and the atheists. So let's band together. Oh, well, by the way, we also require that you do this, and this, and this. You can call it a Sharia law, you can call it a Noahide law, you can call it whatever you want, but we require this kind of stuff, and you should. That's a good compromise. We're dumping trillions of dollars into your economy. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for saying this. You're welcome to say that, because people like to be all harsh and offensive in the comments anyway, so might as well. But I think there's something to this. I think there's something to what I'm saying. Nothing else a possibility. It's something we should be keeping our eyes peeled for, getting ready, finding the right place to live, the right people to be around, and be as self-sufficient as you can while you're preparing for all this stuff to fall apart. It's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.